Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is November the 26th, 2025. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day to you. Hopefully you humped and didn't get humped. And this is what you're into, then by all means, we don't kink shame around here. Do your thing. Get your thing. Get it. My day was good though. Let's see. It was very productive. It was I would say, a pretty good end to the first half of peak. So we love that. Clap it up for that. Hashtag we made it, at least, halfway. So yeah, that was good. But let's just go ahead and do a whole rundown because it's a pretty robust, dynamic day. So we get up, we get out, we get to work. Work was, of course, it was busy. We started off, it was a bit like, it went from like a good, nice start to like tense within like the first, I want to say maybe hour or so. Because Rumpke comes in and they change out the crusher. Not my main crusher, the one for the cardboard, but the composite one. They do that once a week, usually on Wednesday. So I was like, okay, seemed fine, seemed standard. But then I went to go hit the button to just kind of do a little check on it. And it just isn't moving. And I'm like, okay, maybe we just need to go flip the switch. Maybe the Rumpke guy forgot to do that. That's okay, whatever. I asked a guy in maintenance to go check on that for me because I was really busy. And he goes to check on it. He comes back. He goes, hey, so it's not working for some reason. And I'm like, oh, no. Not on Thanksgiving Eve. Please, like, we cannot have this go down. What is the problem? And, of course, they don't know. And they were kind of waiting for the supervisor of maintenance to come and check. So I'm kind of holding out, waiting on bated breath. I got topsiders coming upstairs. I had literally just told one of the leads, like, hey, you can send someone down to help me with the other trash. Like, it just got swapped out. And then that person comes down. I have to break the news to him. Hey, sorry. So we're waiting to see if we can get the thing turned on. So as this is happening, I get the update that, okay, the situation is they flipped the switch off in another location. There's like another safety switch outside. And I guess there was a newer Rumpke guy. He did it for safety, forgot to turn it back on. Like, rookie bullshit. Okay, awesome. Love that you did that. Thank you. But I'm thinking beyond that, maybe he did it because there's a problem, kind of like the last incident we had involving a crusher where it was just like, oh, they left it separated and just left the thing here. I wonder why, like, what's going on? Did they break it? And it's like, no, it was already broken. So like, that's why it happened. So I was like, okay, we need more details. We need to figure out what's going on. Anyway, finally, after I want to say maybe like 20 minutes or so, supervisor, he comes through and he goes, yeah, I have the key. Don't worry about it. And then he just turns it on. So crisis averted. We're all good. So after that, everything kind of goes back to smooth. So I'll take it. For a day like today, I was so tired just in terms of just like, not so much physically today, but just mentally, this peak was harder than it had to be. And I know it's not over yet, and I'm kind of talking about it in past tense, but this wave, this half is always the harder half. So like, I was just kind of like taxed out, maxed out, ready to just be done. So, I was kind of glad to see today and then see it done. So post work, we get to the gym. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let me rewind because I had to take a detour. I actually needed to get my oil changed. We had like ran right, a few miles over, the suggested number. And I was like, okay, I was initially planning on doing this on Friday, post Thanksgiving, but if I can get it done pre-Thanksgiving, let's just go ahead and do that. So I beeline over to Valvoline and, I get there and I already see that it's a full bay. They got all 4 bays taken up and I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm in here. Let's just fucking go. Which actually was good timing because it turned out like, I want to say about 4 or 5 cars came through right after me as I was like kind of going through the whole process. So I think I got lucky. But we get in there, and I think because they were so busy, they didn't ask me any of the extra ass fucking questions like, "Do you want a new filter? Do you want a new wiper blades?" Da 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 da. And I, we just get it done. Zoop 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 zoop. So that was good. But even though they were quick, they were efficient. I was like, I'm gonna do a modified shortened gym session because I just don't need to spend all night here. Like, you know what I mean? And not to mention, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be back there early in the morning because they should be open on limited hours for Thanksgiving. And I'm trying to get that pump before I eat some turkey. So, we're going to try to do that. I'll keep you posted, of course. But for the session at hand, what did we do? I got in there and we did a little bit of Smith machine work, got in on that. Really didn't do any free weights again. I just skipped that, except for I did like some like lateral things to kind of get my lats up. But outside of that, we just, hit some filler machines, did about 30 minutes of cardio, a little bit of core work, and, we were pretty much done for that. I will say, though, a little bit of I don't want to say like weight update or anything. Maybe you could say kind of quote unquote progress update. But I was looking in that mirror and I was like, ooh, do I got a little bit of baby abs coming in? Okay. So, I mean, granted, they're going to disappear after tomorrow, of course. But it was nice to see that little bit of progress. Like, it is moments like those that I really am fighting tooth and nail for at this point. Like, for me, there isn't so much of a weight goal in terms of losing anymore. I like being in the 190s. I think that's a good weight for me. I just want my physique to improve, and whenever I see little bits, your chest is a little bit tighter, maybe, your stomach's not as big and bloated. That's nice, or even just like with my legs and stuff. So it's nice whenever I see a little change that I go, yeah, we're doing it. Keep it up. And it's also nice too because I was feeling myself and I posted it on stories, and it was nice to see the homies kind of come through. It's been kind of like, oh, thank you so much. It's always nice to get that. I ain't gonna lie to you, my ego it likes a little head pat. What can I say? So yeah, overall it's been a really good day. Post the gym, we got home. Not gonna lie, I got a little bit bogged down actually talking to some homies, catching up. I don't know. It's nice that everyone's kind of on a holiday vibe, holiday mode. It almost feels like everyone's on like Thanksgiving break or something. So I don't know. I've been kind of keying with the homies. It's been cool. It's been a vibe. So yeah, that's been my day. It's been a good day. Let's go ahead and do our startup and let's get into some news. I will say, it's been a cold one. They're also saying it might snow for Thanksgiving, at least in like parts of the Midwest. Ohio's getting mentioned there. I'm really hoping that it doesn't snow much or it's just like super light flurry type of beat because it was so cold today after work. I ran to my car. I was like, I'm gonna start sprinting. I don't want to deal with this shit, man. So the last thing I want to do is drive in any kind of weather, especially on a turkey day. Come on, save that shit for Christmas. Not that I want a white Christmas. Don't cancel that order. But like, turkey time, snow day. That's too soon. Cut it. Kill it with that noise. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. I'm sorry. I'm yapping. I'm just in a yappy mood. From The Guardian. Taliban accuses Pakistan of killing 10, including 9 children, in strikes on Afghanistan. Pakistan strikes on neighborhood Afghanistan have killed 10 people, among them 9 children, a Taliban government spokesperson has said, a day after a suicide attack on a security compound in Pakistan's Peshawar city. The Pakistani invading forces bombed the house of a local civilian resident. As a result, 9 children, 5 boys and 4 girls, and 1 woman were martyred in Khost province. Zabihullah Mujahid, that's not it. I'm not saying that word right. Mujahid said. Gotta get off that Dune shit. My bad. airstrikes targeting the border regions of Kunar and Patika wounded another 4 civilians, he added. Pakistan government officials and the military have not commented on the raids. The bombardment follows a suicide attack that targeted the headquarters of Pakistan's paramilitary Federal Constabulary Force in Peshawar, killing 3 officers and wounding 11 others. Which still no one has claimed responsibility for that attack. Initially, the rumors were either India or Afghanistan. I guess from the Pakistani government, they said, okay, we think it's Afghanistan. We think it's, some kind of terrorist group operating there or connected there potentially. We're going to strike there. I don't think this tit for tat is justified in any way, shape, or form. I think doing this and, you see the people who are, killed in that situation, and, well, what was gained? What did you accomplish? Is that going to stop a future attack? Like, no, this doesn't accomplish anything. It's just more violence for violence sake. So it's very unfortunate to see that unfold. I did want to, just get to that update. We actually have a few other breaking stories that I definitely wanted to get to for the rest of the episode, though. So we'll go ahead and just segue into those. From the Associated Press, National Guard members in critical condition after shooting near the White House. 2 West Virginia National Guard members who deployed to the nation's capital were shot Wednesday, just blocks from the White House, in a brazen act of violence. FBI Director Kash Patel and Washington Mayor Muriel Bowser, which is a goated name, said the Guard members were hospitalized in critical condition. Bowser said they were victims of a targeted shooting. I feel like the verbiage is very important here because it is maybe potentially subject to change. We'll get to that as we continue. A suspect who was in custody also was shot and had wounds that were not believed to be life-threatening, according to a law enforcement official who was not authorized to discuss the matter publicly and spoke to the Associated Press on condition of anonymity. President Donald Trump, who is in Florida celebrating Thanksgiving, warned in a statement on social media that the animal who shot the Guard members will pay a very steep price. They're also saying, and I feel like this is a highlighted point that I wanted to make, or at least, they dropped. Just in, because I'm reading the live ticker now. Suspect, this was at 7:47 p.m. Suspect in shooting of National Guard members near White House is Afghan national who entered U.S. in 2021, AP sources say. So I'm saying that to say they have not said this is a terrorist attack or anything like that. But using verbiage like right now, it's currently like a target shooting. It's like, okay, very neutral. But we will see what unfolds over the next, day or so to come in terms of like more details and things of that nature, how this is going to be, portrayed. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I don't know. This is a very new breaking news kind of thing. So I'll see what details come. As of right now, I only know that the 2, National Guardsmen who were shot, that they're in critical condition. That's all we know. So yeah, I will definitely keep you posted of any more updates that come from that story, see what evolves. I know already though, Donald Trump is like already arced up talking about like, we need to start banning, Afghans from coming, shit like that. He's already taken it to that level and shit, the dust has not even settled on this. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our next story. From NBC News, Army officers say they have seized power in Guinea-Bissau. A group of Army officers said they had seized power in a coup-prone Guinea-Bissau on Wednesday, on the eve of the expected announcement of results from a hotly contested presidential election. In a statement read on state television, the Army officers said they have deposed President Umaro Sissoco Embalo, suspended the electoral process, shut borders, and would enforce a curfew. They said they had formed the High Military Command for the Restoration of Order and would be in charge of the West African nation until further notice. Shortly before the announcement, gunfire rang out near the Electoral Commission headquarters, Presidential Palace, and Interior Ministry, witnesses said. It lasted for about an hour, but appeared to have stopped by 4:45 local time. 11:45 a.m. Eastern Time. a Reuters journalist said. There was no word yet of any casualties. So I'm going to say, stop right there. That's a silver lining. I feel like a bloodless coup is the best case scenario for you, right? Like, you want to hear that there were no casualties. No one was actually shot at, you hope. No one, lost their lives. Like, to me, that's good. And maybe you can disagree, if you're more of the revolutionary variety and you're like, no, we got to get we got to get ours. But by all means, I guess you can hop into that discourse. But to me, I think you want to see a bloodless coup. That's the take we're saying at the newsstand. I don't know. Call me crazy. The Electoral Commission had been due on Thursday to announce provisional results from Sunday's election, in which Embalo faced off against top challenger Fernando Diaz. Both sides claimed victory in the first round of voting. Embalo was seeking to become the first president in 3 decades to win a second consecutive term in Guinea-Bissau, a small coastal nation between Senegal and Guinea. He could not immediately be reached. A spokesperson for Embalo, Antonio Yaya Sidi, told Reuters that the unidentified gunmen attacked the election commission to prevent an announcement of the vote results. He said the men were affiliated with Diaz without providing evidence. A spokesperson for Diaz did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Former Prime Minister Domingos Simões Pereira, who lost to Embalo in a contested runoff in 2019 and has backed Diaz in this election, said Diaz has nothing to do with the incident. Diaz was meeting election observers when some people erupted in the room to announce there were gunshots in the center of town, said Pereira, who said he was in the same meeting. Diaz was safe in Bissau, Pereira said. Guinea-Bissau has been shaken by at least 9 coups and attempted coups between 1974, when it gained independence from Portugal, and 2020, when Embalo took office. Embalo has said he has survived 3 coup attempts during his time in office. Critics have accused him of manufacturing crises as an excuse for crackdowns. So, I guess my 2 cents as we leave this story. I don't really know how I feel about it yet in terms of what's my take on Embalo? What's my take on, the state of Guinea-Bissau? Where are we going to go from here? This is definitely one of those situations where I am, throwing us into a story, into a region, into a situation in which I don't know very much. Okay. Like I hit the wiki on a couple of things and I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants. I think someone like Embalo can maybe sound good on paper. I'm reading your party affiliations. What are you saying you're about? Okay. But if people are saying you're taking an authoritarian style to govern, then throw all that bullshit, that fucking democratic bullshit out the window. You don't mean it. You know what I mean? What difference does that fucking make? So, I definitely got to do some more research. I got to do some more learning. I got to bone up, enlighten myself a little bit more. And I got to see what happens. I got to see what unfolds. I've been saying that a lot. You know what I mean? But that's the gig, right? We're a current events podcast. So, we see what's up and then we kind of go from there. And my dumbass is got to kind of go back in time and learn some shit. And then we come back bigger, better, smarter. Okay? That is the modus operandi. That is how we operate around here. Anyway. So yeah, more to come, I imagine. But yeah, I was not expecting a coup. I was like, what the fuck? All right, I'm talking about that today. Anyway, we have one more story that I wanted to cover. We're going to take it to China. We're going to Hong Kong. Another breaking news story. I normally like to cover the breaking news kind of up front, but we had one on the second story. It just is what it is. We shook it up a little bit. What can I say? But let's go ahead and do our last break, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. I hope at the very least my podcast has at least a couple of fun moments of ASMR for people. I don't know. Or maybe it's some of the worst moments, but I'll take that. I don't know. Maybe it's cringe, but you're getting it. Oh, man. In a perfect world, I would love a setup, though, or like for Patreon, I would do like mukbang style things, like eating and da 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 da. That'd be so fun. I would love doing that. Maybe one day. Maybe that's something we can put on the ideas board. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's go ahead and close this out. I'm trying to make as much of a light, levity as I can before we get into, yet again another heavy story. From CNN. 3 arrested in Hong Kong fire that killed at least 44 and left hundreds missing. Dozens killed, hundreds missing. Rescuers are searching for hundreds of missing people after a fire raced through several high-rise buildings in a Hong Kong apartment complex, killing at least 44 people. Some of the buildings in the complex, home to a large population of elderly residents, are still ablaze in what appears to be the city's most deadly fire since World War II. 3 men have been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter in relation to the fire. Police accuse the 3 of gross negligence. So I will say, just kind of starting from the bottom, that is very aggressive, very fast. Like how they're like, boom, you guys are responsible for this because we know something happened and some kind of malfunction. We can already kind of suss that out already. Two, I think I wanted to mention, not that I know much about Hong Kong infrastructure or whatever, but you can just kind of tell from looking at the buildings and things like that. This is very akin to like almost like a New York situation, any highly populated city where you're trying to optimize the space as much as possible. You have very high towers, like very like filled with people. So a situation like this, like a whole fire engulfing the whole building the way that it has and it is very devastating. And then, hearing that it's like, a large population of elderly residents, that means, you have people who are going to be very much stuck in that situation. So it's very sad. I definitely just like her as I went through the day or the evening, hearing the number just go up and up was just really, obviously very sad, very unfortunate to read, see. So my condolences to the people of Hong Kong, people of China, going through all this shit right now. If it's not the weather, it's some other fucking disaster, right? Like life is very crazy in that way. It's very unexpected in that way. But, the human spirit, it fights, it endures, it carries on. I don't know. But, I will definitely be back with any updates there. But once again, just making note of the fact that like, boom, like, we've covered stories like this in other regions and other places where it's like there's so much like red tape or whatever, it's something that they maybe get to or what have you. It's like, no, these arrests are made. Gross negligence. We're talking criminal level. You're already being, arrested and under suspicion for that shit. So, like I said, I'm sure there'll be more to talk about in the coming days in the future. So yeah, we'll probably be back to it. But yeah, that is the episode today for this Thanksgiving Eve. If that's what you celebrate, participate in. If not, I hope that your tomorrow is filled with good, yummy food and good talks, good family, good friends, whatever. Because it doesn't matter if you celebrate, if you're about that turkey time or nah. It's about the vibes. That is for sure. I think especially for for like all of them. Like, I mean, yeah, Independence Day is fucking lame if you're looking at like the premise of it. And hey, you can come for me, hot take, whatever, America. But like, it's fun to pop rockets and eat hot dogs with your homies. So I get it. And drink a bunch of beer. All right, that's fun. So on the note of Thanksgiving, sure, fuck the pilgrims, man. I don't give a shit about that. But what I do give a fuck about is eating some sweet potato casserole. Okay, all right. I'm so down for that. I'm so ready for that. And the good vibes and the good comms. That is what I'm here for. And I hope that you have a good Thanksgiving. So there you go. Good holiday. That's all I have to say about that. Anyway, if you'd like to help out, support the effort, I do have a Patreon. Patreon.com/IsaiahNews. Become a newsie today. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow on TikTok. Follow on Spotify. Follow on Apple Podcasts. Wherever you like to listen. Leave a like. Leave a cool comment. Sharing is caring. 5 stars on Spotify, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. Would you kindly? It's good for the algo. It looks good to see. I mean, hey, I was at that Valvoline and they got to say, Google review, 5 stars. I ain't giving them 5 stars. Literally, man, I'm going to make this aside. You're getting bonus content. I overheard one of the mechanics go, hey, last time, like, the guy didn't put this air filter back in right. And I'm thinking to myself, I came to this exact same Valvoline last time. You mean to tell me that guy tried to be like, hey, man, your shit's so fucked up and dirty. Ugh, gross, huh? You should get a new one. And I say no, and he just fucking just throws that shit in. Thank you. I'm at least glad that guy was on it today. At least I hope. Knock on wood. I don't need my shit to explode, okay? Before I get my fucking brakes fixed? Hell nah. But no, 5 stars. Just like Valvoline, I need them. Let's see. If you don't, that's okay. It's fine. You can just drive on by just like I did. I didn't give him 5 stars. You don't have to give me 5 stars either. But I really just appreciate you listening. I know there's so many people who see this and they go, ew, what the fuck is this? And they don't even click. And I don't blame them. I know some people, they do click. They don't even get a minute in there and they're vomiting. And they're like, I'm taking psychic damage from this man, this person. Fuck this. Ew, like, never follow. You know, but you, my dear listener, you've made it all the way through. And you're like, damn. That was fine. That was okay. Maybe even good. Or maybe you're asleep right now and you're just letting it play. And I'm like, it's okay. Just, I'll be quiet. I'm sorry. But I hopefully will see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.